History is funny in the way that commonplace knowledge can be rooted in a distortion of the facts. Do you remember that children's game, Telephone? Someone would be given a word or phrase and they would whisper it to their neighbor, who would then pass it along until that last person would shout out the word and it would be completely off from the original. Somehow, frying pan becomes flying man. It makes you wonder, did somebody alter it on purpose just to see how it affects the end result? Or was it all just a misunderstanding? This is the case with the origin story of Florida. I'm sure many of you have learned things such as it was discovered by Ponce de Leon in 1513, and that he came looking for the Fountain of Youth, or that he saw such beautiful flora that he decided to name it La Florida, for Land of the Flowers. The truth is, this story is not a romantic tale of a conquistador's dream of finding a fabled fountain. Rather, it's a fierce rivalry, war, and some litigation. America's history starts with a little rhyme. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. But what happened in 1493? On this second voyage by Christopher Columbus, a volunteer gentleman was added to the roster by the name of Juan Ponce de Leon. Juan was a top military official in Spain, something that comes in handy when you're an explorer claiming territory that may already be occupied by the native people. Ponce de Leon was able to successfully stop a native Taino rebellion and was granted the rights to explore neighboring islands by Nicolas de Ovando, the governor of Hispaniola. During his voyage with Columbus, Ponce de Leon learned of gold reserves on San Juan and convinced the crown to settle this territory, and in 1509 he was granted governorship. This is where the rivalry begins. Diego Columbus, Christopher's eldest son, became viceroy and replaced Ovando. Diego felt that the rights to San Juan were his inheritance, and he challenged Ponce de Leon for the claim. Just 2 years after his governorship was granted, Ponce de Leon was ousted by Diego, who clearly had superior lawyers on his side. King Ferdinand was sympathetic to Juan and even stipulated that Diego must keep him under political employ, which he then ignored. Ferdinand, realizing that Diego would never share the island with Juan, then made Ponce de Leon an offer. 3 years of exploring neighboring islands, and whatever you find, you will keep governorship for the rest of your life. Ponce de Leon set out to find the island of Bimini. This infuriated Diego, who was not content at just removing Ponce de Leon from his island. He needed to ruin his reputation. Diego aligned with González Fernando de Oviedo y Valdez, and together they started the rumor of the Fountain of Youth. It's likely the origin of this tale is due to the natural spring waters which are abundant in Florida and do provide health benefits. For Diego, however, it was a way to discredit Juan and make him look like the king's fool sent out on a hopeless quest. Historians clung to this tale as a romantic ideal, and it has since evolved into a tourist attraction in St. Augustine, Florida, the location near where Ponce de Leon first arrived. Juan Ponce de Leon landed on the shores of Florida somewhere between St. Augustine and Melbourne during the first week of April 1513. It was this Easter arrival that gave Florida its name, Pascua Florida, or the Feast of Flowers, as Ponce de Leon named it after the Spanish Easter celebration. 440 years later, Mary A. Harrell, a social studies teacher in Jacksonville, Florida, proposed the idea of a Pascua Florida holiday in observance of Florida's rich history, and it was officially recognized as a state holiday in 1953. Happy Pascua Florida, everyone, and stay weird.